It seems that almost every day there's another general or high-ranking official in the Canadian Armed Forces who is being investigated for sexual problems. And Kim Wright from Wright Strategies joins me right now because I want to know, investigations finally, yes, we're hearing that, but the Minister of Defense, who knew about these, is still there. There's no accountability for him. Or the Prime Minister, who also, we're told, may have known about it, is obviously still there. I mean, what has happened to accountability?
Well, sadly, there is no accountability when it comes to what has happened for a very long time in the Canadian military. In 2015, there was a report on polling that was done internally, and a full 25% of active members of the Canadian military admitted to being sexually assaulted or harassed within their workplace.
No, that was the last report, and nothing was done about that last report.
That was several reports ago.
Yeah.
And you wonder why people don't want to come forward, because nothing clearly has changed culturally. No matter how woke our Prime Minister wants to call himself and how woke his government is supposed to be in their feminist card, at the end of the day, they are continuing to allow for this boys will be boys, it's okay because he's a good guy type of mentality, and there's no hell to pay on it, and there darn well should be.
I don't think there's any question. Everybody would agree that there should be penalties on this and full investigation. Do you think that because of that reporter years ago challenging the Prime Minister when he supposedly
experienced something differently?
And she experienced it differently than he did. Do you think that this government is precluded from ever investigating sexual harassment because it's going to come back to the Prime Minister and say, you can't fire your minister because you yourself are guilty?
At the end of the day, what we need as a society, and certainly the women, whether it is in the military, in government, in politics, in life, they need to have our leaders say, it is no longer tolerated, and those aren't just words to say, those are actually actionable items. And what we've seen repeatedly, whether it has been General Vance or now General Fortin, that there hasn't been any sort of significant movement on actually bringing justice forward. And this is why less than 5% of women in particular they're the only ones who come forward.
Right.
Because the prosecution of them and the persecution of them is extraordinary.
So what should happen in Canadian politics right now? There's a number of stories out there. The Minister of Defense, still there. Prime Minister, he's not going to fire himself. I mean, should they be held accountable in the next election for this?
They should be. They should absolutely be held accountable, because what you're supposed to do is make your society better for those that you serve. The question is, who are they serving?
That's a question I can't answer. It's one of the few ones I can't answer. Kim Wright, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. 3 minutes. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, recently stood up in the House of Commons and prefaced his remarks by saying, and we will only work from the facts, quote, unquote, and then proceeded to lie by saying Britain was in a horrible, horrible third wave, trying to show, in fact, that Canada was not the worst in the world. Britain, though, had vaccines. Canada did not. And this was not reported in the mainstream Canadian media, the media paid for by Justin Trudeau. All of which, I'm telling you, is that it's important to have this 3-minute interview. Please subscribe, ask your friends to subscribe, and press that PayPal thing so we can continue on to bring you the news you otherwise might not know.